My mother-in-law lost her father to alcoholism at a very young age. Unfortunately, as she got older, she too turned to drink. However, due to her upper middle-class social status, no one really said anything. She was considered a social drinker. Only her family was truly affected by it. In her mid-70s, things actually got to the point where her friends realized something did need to be done, and they joined with her family to confront her on the issue. That confrontation turned into her checking in to the Betty Ford Center in Rancho Mirage, California. Her time there was not only life-changing for her, but her children as well. She stayed sober the remaining 4 years of her life, and her children were able to start processing the pain and the shame they had felt due to her alcoholism. Former First Lady Betty Ford founded the Betty Ford Center in 1982, not out of a need for some sense of civic duty to, as the wife of a president, to find a cause to fill her days, but out of her own very real pain of addiction and recovery. In 1978, her family confronted her with her alcoholism and addiction to pain pills. She could have hid herself in shame, but instead she chose to make a place for others. She was particularly concerned about women in high society dealing with this issue in their lives. This was not the first time she had done this. When she was first entering the White House and before that, she had sought psychiatric counseling. She was very forthright with the American people about it because she hoped that people would not be ashamed to go seek help themselves if they were in that position. And in a very personal season in her life, just after entering the White House, Mrs. Ford had a mastectomy due to breast cancer. Again, she took her personal pain, experience, and recovery and used her platform to create awareness for a disease that most Americans were very reluctant to talk about. Her goal was to save lives. And by helping women know what to look for and to not be ashamed anymore, her goal was realized. Born Elizabeth Ann Boomer in 1918, Mrs. Ford was a dancer and then a dance instructor. However, when she met Gerald Ford, her life became completely about politics. At her time as First Lady in the White House, she spent much of it advocating for women's rights, especially in the workplace. Equal work, equal pay. She also worked on more traditional causes, such as helping children with special needs. Later, she wrote a couple of books about her journey through addiction and recovery, and also chronicling the books of others who had gone through that process. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal. She said of her time as First Lady in the White House, "I was an ordinary woman called on stage at an extraordinary time." Being called on stage, she could have chosen the cautious road. She could have made sure that she didn't talk about or do anything that would cause people to potentially look disfavorably on her or her husband. She could have stuck to safe causes, poverty, education, orphans. But instead, she chose to take her weaknesses and turn them around to be strengths for others. You and I may not agree on everything Mrs. Ford said or did, but we cannot help but honor and admire the fact that she stepped out of her comfort zone, took what she believed in, used her platform to passionately make a change in the lives of many Americans. Former First Lady Betty Ford passed away recently at age 93. But her legacy is far-reaching and will continue to change lives, like my mother-in-law's, for many, many years